Guys. I want to talk about the key to being a man is responsibility and accountability. And I know a lot of our sisters, we clash on this because they feel like they're responsible and accountable for things. I get that. But ultimately, in a relationship, in your marriage, your man carries the greater load of responsibility and accountability for the family. I don't know if I'm making sense. Let me break it down like this, and I would just want you to stick with me because it's going to be a long route just to get to this point. So I've noticed single mothers, single mothers of daughters, single mothers of sons, and let's just assume that both these single mothers were in horrible toxic relationships and they've got deadbeat baby daddies. Let's just assume. But on the one side, it's a single mother of a daughter. On the other side, it's a single mother of a son. And I've seen this one through my time as a teacher, and I've seen this as a parent, because I find myself in different spaces. And what I've seen is the mother of this daughter, the way that she raises this child is she raises this child with the hurt that she carries and her trauma, and she transfers it. Men are trash, men are horrible, this and this. Try and look for a man who's like this and like this and like this. Or rather, you need to be able to build yourself and shape yourself to be this type of lady. So you don't need to rely on a man for this and this and this and this. That's the education that she gives her daughter. That's what she pours into her daughter. And again, crazy enough, moms do the same. Moms of sons do the same. Look, men are like this, like this. Try not to be like your father. Be a man who's like this, who a man like this, who a man like this. Perfect. The kids start growing up. And here's the thing about boys when they're very young. When they're very young, they're almost like girl-like, and they stick with their moms. But as they get into themselves, they realize the way the world treats little boys versus treating little girls is not the same. Little boys pick that up. They'll be walking at a retail store, convenience store, whatever, and they realize, as little boys, they might be seen as criminals. Whereas little girls, it's, oh my God, the little girl, protect her. So there's that narrative. And little boys are put under more pressure by society. Little boys are scrutinized. How is your son not be to ride a bike? Oh, he doesn't play sports? How does he not know the most famous soccer players, etc., etc., etc.? Those pressures are put on little boys. Girls may have their own pressures, but just stay with me when I want to go back to the accountability and responsibility part. Little girls, as they grow, their moms are trying to shape them in order for them not to make the same mistakes, for them to be independent and strong and to get their own. Mothers, as they grow up their sons, they're trying to do something similar, but they start realizing, Oguti, the person that I'm grooming is ultimately going to be the head of a specific household. The person that I'm grooming is essentially going to have kids, make kids, get the surname, etc., etc., etc. They're going to realize as the kid gets older and older, Uguti, this guy actually pees standing up and I pee sitting down. Actually, the way that the world sees this person is not the same as how the world would see me. The boy starts rebelling in such a way that the mother doesn't understand. He gets into his teen years, 14, 15. He starts rebelling because there's a dissonance. There's a disconnect in how I am experiencing the world as a young man versus Wena Mama who's experienced the world as a female. Whereas a single mom of a daughter, she'll be like, look, don't do this. I'm protecting you because I've done that mistake. Don't do this because I've been attracted to that type of guy. Don't do this because I've been in those settings. So she can relate. And the clashing and the disconnect and the fighting is because the young girl wants to find her path while at the same time the mother has walked that path. The difference with the single mom is the young boy is trying to find his path, but the mother has never walked that path. The world is going to put pressure. If I take two people at age 18, an 18-year-old girl and an 18-year-old boy, society expects the 18-year-old boy to know how to drive a car. They go to a Valentine's Day ball, this 18-year-old girl and an 18-year-old boy. Society still expects the boy to get flowers. The society still expects the boy to buy the ticket. Society still expects the boy to do all of this thing, even though they both come from single mothers. Society puts so much pressure that this little boy has to figure out a way, have never been taught, to make sure that he woos and he treats this girl right, even though they come from the exact same a background of single mothers. The pressure is all on him. They go into university, they get into their 20s, whatever the case may be. He's expected to do better financially at that young age. He's expected to be able to solve more problems. He's expected. And I know a lot of feminists will say, no, well, we can build together. Yeah, sure. But the reality is you still want a man who is stronger than you from a financial point, who is stronger than you in terms of being able to make great decisions, who can lead you. And if we both come from the same space, being raised by single mothers, where do I get this? So there's a responsibility and an accountability that men have in today's society. Excuse me. I was watching my son play rugby last year, and they had a great season. I remember, I think the last game of the season they lost, and obviously as parents, we're all around. And I'm watching these little boys as they lost, and they drop their heads and they're just crying, like literally like tears, they're crying. And I watched the one mom walk across to her son, and she opened her arms and let's just say the boy's name is Tabo. She walks across and she opens her arms and goes, "How Tabo?" And the boy, without even looking at his mom, ducks under her arms and walks straight to her father, to his father. Walks straight to his father. And as he's walking straight to his father, I'm watching that. I look, and my little Zita is like, is by me, and we're having conversations. I'm not, hey, I was like, okay, Ndana, yeah, you guys fucking lost, eh? So you guys need to just lift up your head, though. Everybody loses. You need to just toughen up. They're the better team on the day. They worked harder. They deserved it, bro. And the conversation, looking at him, it's what he needed. And a lot of the times, mothers in that space will be like, it's okay, my love. You guys did your best. You guys will do better next time. Those things for a young boy who is going through pain, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need you to put fucking marshmallows and roses on his pain. He doesn't need that. He needs the truth because he understands how the world works. Because as much as you will say, it's okay, boy, it's fine. You guys will leave and he'll have to stay with his peers. He'll have to stay with these guys from other schools that go, wow, we beat you guys. Oh, what did your mom say? He knows that he still has to live in that world. He gets that. So he wants to go and seek guidance and advice and counsel from someone who also gets that. And he'll come to me and I won't be like, yeah, it's okay, my son, you'll be fine. No, Donna, they were better on the day. You win some, you lose some. Chin up, champ. You guys just need to work harder. You guys were missing tackles. You guys weren't running aggressive enough. So that's what needs to happen. So going home, we need to work at this. We need to make sure we pull out the tackle back from the garage and you start working, boy. But we can't have the same pain next year. He needed that. He needed that because he knows the world that he will be facing, the world that will be out there for him is very different. This 18-year-old girl who's raised up by a single mother, if she is, let's say she stays in Santon in workspaces and she's at a local middle upper class bar, if she argues with another female or she argues with another man, chances are it will become very verbal and will stay in that space. Men learn very early, Uguti, if I argue with another man, it could quickly become violent, regardless of where I'm at. Therefore, how the world sees me and how the world treats me is very different to our sisters. The expectations put on me is very different. So I look at my own self as I was growing up. I started pushing back from my mother from a very young age. I remember the one time she was going to go buy a lawnmower. And she said that she's going to go buy an electric lawnmower. And I was like, how much does the petrol lawnmower cost? And she's like, it's the same price. And I was like, get the petrol lawnmower. And she's like, no, she likes the look of the electric lawnmower. And I was like, no, get the petrol one. And she's like, hi, but Toby. I was like, okay, no, fine. Get the electric lawnmower, but you'll be cutting the grass. Boo! She froze. Because she quickly realized, ultimately the person who's responsible and accountable to cutting the grass is that guy over there, me. Therefore, I have a greater say on the type of lawnmower because I'm cutting the grass and I want something that's the most convenient for me, the person who cuts the grass. I learned from a young age, I need to be responsible and accountable. I learned from a very young age through my experiences, through the world beating me, I'm accountable and I'm responsible for this. Jill Scott says it so beautifully when she says, when it comes to a man, if a man can't tell her, then a man can't tell her. But if a man can tell her, then a man can tell her. And ultimately, she says, she will take guidance and leadership from a man, but it needs to be the right man. She's not just going to take guidance and leadership from any man. Again, if I, as a guy, have a partner and I'm saying, I don't like the way she dresses, it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. I don't like the way you dress. And she says, okay, no, sharp. How do I dress? No, wear long jeans. Oh, I don't have that. Where am I? Oh, I don't have that. Unless I'm willing to take away her responsibility and accountability from purchasing that, my say is diminished. If my partner has a male personal trainer that she pays for at a gym that she pays for, and I say, oh, I don't like your male personal trainer, unless I'm willing to train her myself, unless I'm willing to pay or assist in paying for a female personal trainer, my opinion becomes less. The more responsibilities that I take away from people, from sisters, the more accountability I carry, the more of a say I have. That's the root of a man. They learn this at a very, very young age. They learn this at a very young age. A lot of the brothers that I chat to, I've realized, Uguti, the reasons why they're struggling in this world is because they're not taking any responsibilities and any accountabilities. If you're staying in your mother's house, if you're eating your mother's food, if you, yes, whatever, for whatever reason, you can justify it. Your mother's still responsible for you. She's still accountable for you. So she knows, Uguti, if she doesn't buy groceries, you don't eat. So the responsibility and accountability falls on her and she becomes your parent forever. The second you can turn that around and you start to be accountable and responsible for, and accountable and responsible for her, all of a sudden the power dynamics change and then you can start guiding and leading her. My mother calls me all the time for counsel. She calls me all the time for because again, she knows that if shit hits the fan, I'm responsible. If shit hits the fan, I'm accountable. With my kids, they come to me for God because they know I'm responsible and I'm accountable all the time. And in that and seeing that, the young boys, they realizing, I also need to be accountable and responsible because ultimately I want to have a partner who I can do that for. And sisters, whether they want to admit it or not, they are looking for a man who can lighten the load. They are looking for a man who can be responsible at fucking leading this home, leading this family, and driving into a successful goal, vision that he has for the greater family. And then he needs to be responsible and accountable for all of that while she's there as a supportive role. Guys, if you are stuck right now in your life, Machita, if you're stuck right now in your life, a lot of it, or if you're feeling like I can't move, a lot of it because you lack responsibility and accountability. Where you are right now, you've put yourself in there for whatever reason. There's people that grew up in shacks that are multimillionaires. There's people that have had the most horrible upbringing, the most horrible, most toxic upbringing in our greater spaces because they've taken control of their lives. They're accountable and they're responsible for every single step from the second they wake up in the morning to when they go back to bed. Regardless of how toxic things are, their view on life has changed. You know, if this happens, if this bad challenge, what can I learn? What can I apply? What can I grow? Let's move on. I put myself here, or I should have changed this, or I should have thought about this, or I should have pivoted, and they be accountable and they're responsible for themselves. And that's how we grow. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I've got thousands of stories. Oh my gosh, I've got thousands of stories just to talk about the whole single mother, you know, little boy mom, girl mom, boy mom. It's crazy. I read just quickly before I switch off. There was a post where this lady's holding her son and she says, with you as a boy mom, the thought of someone's daughter one day saying to my son, fuck you and your mama. There's going to be girls to you moms who have sons. There are going to be girls that are going to be playing around with your son. There are going to be girls that are milking your son for cash. There are going to be girls that are calling your son like a soft simp. There's going to be girls that are going to be saying to your son, fuck you and your mom. It's crazy. And it's as a boy mom, it's crazy because you get to have a little insight, just a little insight on the life of being a man. I think that's why I also really want a daughter, so I can have a little bit more of an insight on the life of females. You know, obviously I'm super close with my sister, you know, but it's not the same. You know, I'm super close with a lot of females in my life, but it's not the same. I think once you have a daughter and the investment and the feeling and it's just that little bit different. So yeah, man. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys disagree, let's disagree, but let's teach each other and let's learn like this. And yeah, please, if you're not yet subscribe, hit that like notification bell, share this video far and wide if you think others will benefit. And time, guys, have yourselves a fantastic day. I'm out.